Hello, I'm dgerard and this is Pivot to AI, coming to you Monday to Friday. Today, great news for science. arXiv is banning blatant AI slop. The arXiv, that's arXiv, arXiv, is a preprint server. It's where academics can post papers before they reach the peer-reviewed journals. If they even bother going that far, the arXiv is where you get news out quickly. Science runs on the arXiv. Any paper on the arXiv, it's equivalent to a blog post. They should be serious prospective papers announcing a result. Some papers are just marketing, especially in AI. We've covered a few of them on Pivot to AI. But the arXiv is a good thing to have around. There's a bunch of other preprint servers, but arXiv's the big one. So obviously the arXiv gets a ton of spammy nonsense. It always has, even with authors needing someone to vouch for them. But the chatbots have kicked the flood of spam into high gear. The news isn't official on arXiv's site yet, but Tom Dietrich, who moderates the machine learning section of arXiv, posted on Blue Sky on Wednesday and at full length on Twitter on Thursday. Quote, "Attention arXiv authors. Our code of conduct states that, by signing your name as an author of a paper, each author takes full responsibility for all its contents, irrespective of how the contents were generated. If generative AI tools generate inappropriate language, plagiarized content, biased content, errors, mistakes, incorrect references, or misleading content, and that output is included in scientific works, it is the responsibility of the authors. The penalty is a 1-year ban from arXiv, followed by the requirement that subsequent arXiv submissions must first be accepted at a reputable peer-reviewed venue." Unquote. That's each author. Everyone named as writing a paper bears responsibility. You can still use a chatbot for your text, but if it messes up, you're out, because it's smoking gun evidence you did not read the paper your name is on, and you're just spamming everyone else's time. This has been coming for a while. Dalmeet Singh Chawla, a science journalist, spoke to Dietrich, who says this has been effective policy at the arXiv for a while. Quote, "Yes, he told me earlier today. We have been imposing penalties for AI slop and many other forms of scientific misconduct as violations of our code of conduct for quite some time. We are publicizing this now in an attempt to deter this behavior." Unquote. They're not blocking paper authors casually. The blatant evidence is bad enough. Quote, "Examples of incontrovertible evidence: hallucinated references, not just minor errors, meta-comments from the LLM. Here is a 200-word summary. Would you like me to make any changes? The data in this table is illustrative. Fill it in with the real numbers from your experiments." Unquote. And you can tell those are real examples Dietrich is naming here. Samantha Cole at 404 Media spoke to Dietrich about what's going on. Quote, "Dietrich told me in an email on Friday morning that this is a one-strike rule, meaning authors caught just once, including AI slop in submissions, will be banned, but the decisions will be open to appeal. I want to emphasize that we only apply this to cases of incontrovertible evidence," he said. "I should also add that our internal processes requires first a moderator to document the problem and then for the section chair to confirm before imposing the penalty." Unquote. Chatbot spam is a plague on science. Springer Nature has a bad habit of publishing books full of chatbot artifacts, as we've shown on Pivot previously. Machine learning is plagued with chatbots, because the chatbot vendors are where the money comes from. arXiv already had to tighten up rules on machine learning papers in November because of a flood of AI slop. The Association for Computational Linguistics just had to reject a pile of papers it had already accepted for the ACL 2026 conference when the paper's references turned out to be chatbot fakes. The response so far to the arXiv chatbot penalty has been wild cheering from most of science and academia, and a lot of whining from AI bros who cannot conceive of a world where they aren't writing scientific papers with a slop machine. The fun part is the consequences. A lot of scientific paper writing is delegated. There's a principal investigator who runs the lab and gets the grants. He's the last named author on most of the papers. He delegates work to a postdoc or to a graduate student, who sometimes then delegates the work to a chatbot. Ba-bow. Here's Luca Ambrosioni. He's an assistant professor of machine learning and a principal investigator at the Generative Memory Lab at Radboud University. Ambrosioni calls himself an AI realist. He sees disaster. Quote, I am quite convinced that under these arXiv guidelines, every single major PI in the field will be banned within a few years. Unquote. What? The field being machine learning. I gotta say, a hit dog hollers. Like, just how much blatant slop has Ambrosioni got his name on already? You'd think he could just not write scientific papers with a chatbot, and he could enforce a rule against writing papers with a chatbot in the lab he runs. But apparently that's not an option. The AI bros are, of course, selling chatbot tools to fix the chatbot breakage. If that trick worked, the AI vendors would have cured chatbot hallucinations with it already. The only unfortunate part of the arXiv chatbot penalty is how Dietrich and his team are applying this. They're initially screening papers for slop with a chatbot. Quote, we rely on some standard LLM detectors to focus our attention on papers that need to be checked. Unquote. Ew. That said, the criterion for a ban is a human seeing blatant chatbot leavings in what's supposed to be a serious scientific paper. So you're not getting just banned by a bot. Yet. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI. Cheer up the scientist in your life by sending them this episode. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube, leave a nice review in your podcast app, and don't forget to drop your $5 into the Patreon link in the show notes this weekend. This keeps Pivot to AI going. Thank you all. I'll see you on Monday, and bye for now.